Hi everyone, it's Rosie from Talking About BPD, and I wanted to make a video to tell you about the last 2-3 weeks. So around 3 weeks ago I started a new job as a teacher in a special school where I'm a teacher of a class of children with special educational needs and additional needs, and it's going really well for me. However, the change of job completely destabilised me, gave me loads of panic attacks, emotional meltdowns, made me feel really scared and out of control, and it was a really difficult few weeks for me. In fact, an incredibly difficult few weeks for me, and it was really scary quite a lot of the time because I felt like I'd gone backwards, or that things were getting completely out of control, that I would need to go back on my medication, which would be absolutely fine, but I've been coming off that and I didn't really want to go back on. On top of that, my DBT, dialectical behaviour therapy, is ending. In fact, it's pretty much ended because I only have one more session in August, which is like a 6-month kind of session just to see how I'm doing and what DBT skills I've been doing. So it really threw a spanner in the works, having this like really rocky time following starting my new job, also combined with my therapy ending, and it has been really scary. However, luckily a few days ago things became a little bit calmer and I'm feeling more settled. So maybe I can explain a little bit why I find change so destabilising. So I think it's because it's quite difficult to remember the bigger picture when one thing changes. So when I go into a new environment and I'm in a new place, I'm surrounded by different people, my role might be different day to day, new journey, new routine, new wake up time, new going to sleep time. It's hard to retain a sense of continuity from my life now to the things I've done in the past or things I'll do in the future, and it's quite difficult for me to see the bigger picture. It's also quite difficult for me to feel one identity sometimes. So when I change job, it's difficult to feel or to even remember the other things I've done in the past. So it can feel quite scary to go into a new place and feel like I'm starting all over again with who I am. However, I do know deep down that that's not the case. I am the total of all the things that have happened in the past as well as all the things I'll do in the future. Nobody is just one thing at that time in that isolation. There are lots of different pieces of the puzzle that make you up, from all the things you've done in the past, all the people you've met, the conversations you've had, the things you've done, the way you think about things, the dreams, the hopes, like all of the different parts of you. And it can be so difficult going into a new place because it feels like the judgments of others are going to define me, and that's who I am now and who I'll always be, and nothing else is ever the same. So I don't know if that makes sense at all, how I'm describing it. I don't know if any of you have ever felt kind of a lack of continuity between who you were and who you are now when you've had a change in your life. I am sort of starting to feel a bit more back to normal, and like I do remember the bigger picture of my life and who I am, and kind of feeling a bit more like myself. But I have to say, it was so scary going into that new job and having that change and just feeling like completely all at sea, and like I didn't remember who I was or what I stand for, anything. I guess if you are going through something similar, then I would say just keep reminding yourself that it won't be like that forever, and you will change how you feel. The change won't always be new. Something will stabilise and you will start to feel more normal, and your routine will become more everyday rather than something you're doing for the first time. And I guess I had one session in January with my DBT therapist, which is one of my sessions, kind of my winding down sessions, and she was talking to me about how I do struggle to retain that sense of identity of who I am when something external happens or something external changes. And I guess the challenge for a lot of people diagnosed with BPD is to retain that sense of who you are when something external happens, whether that's a comment from somebody or a criticism or an incident that happens, or maybe somebody gets upset with you or angry with you. It's really difficult to hold on to that core of who you are, and I find that really difficult, and I think that's why I struggle so much with criticism, because it kind of feels like it's counteracting everything about me. So yeah, I guess one thing that helps is just mindfulness of emotions and mindfulness of thoughts. So really that means just noticing when that happens and saying to myself, well, that's how I feel, that's what my thoughts are saying, but it's not necessarily true. Yeah, but it's really, really challenging, and it's been a really difficult few weeks, so I'm quite exhausted, so I'm having quite a chilled weekend. Thank you for your support, thank you for watching, and if you can relate, I'd love to hear from you, and yeah, bye.